Good morning to everyone. So today we are going to discuss about the Selenium WebDriver demo. Sorry. So today we are going to discuss about the Selenium WebDriver demo, how we can able to configure the Selenium WebDriver into the Java project. So we are going to discuss about like how to create a Java project, how we can find the web element from the web application, what is TestNG, why do we need to use a TestNG, how to use a TestNG framework in Selenium project, how to write the Selenium WebDriver code, and two more concepts. What is assertion, how to add assertion, what is data provider, how to implement the data provider. Here is the kadam chatama. Okay, so Selenium WebDriver is basically used to different type of, as we discussed about yesterday. It can be Selenium WebDriver can be implemented on the different platform like a Ruby, Python, C Sharp. So as per our demo concepts, we are going to take an example of Java platform, Java language. So we have to download and use the Java WebDriver. It's a Selenium WebDriver with Java. So as I said, to download the Selenium Java WebDriver, we have to go to the Selenium HQ download website and we have to download the WebDriver. So we need to go to the Selenium HQ web download site. So once you reach to the download site, when you see scroll down where you can see the different language. So we are going to use a Java. So we have to download the Selenium Java download WebDriver. And after once we downloaded this thing, the first thing is we have to create and set up our project. So for creating a Java projects, we are going to use a Java Eclipse. So I'm using a Java Eclipse. So first I will create a Java project. So I'm going to create a new Java project. Selenium automation. So I created a new project called Selenium automation. So inside this project, I can create a new package. com.selenium. So now I created a new project called Selenium automation. I created a package called com.selenium. As we know, why do we need to create a package? So it is basically easy to import and export your project without using a default package. We are creating a separate package com.selenium. After creating the Selenium package, the next step is we need to use some automation framework to implement the Selenium project. So Selenium automation, so for creating a Selenium web project, we are using a framework called TestNG framework. So TestNG is one of the testing framework which is basically used to test all your commands. So if you want to test, we can use a framework called TestNG framework. So how to get the TestNG framework? So we have to download the TestNG framework. I have already downloaded. Like I will just show you. I'll go for the Eclipse Marketplace, and here I can write test. So when I select that TestNG, I will get the TestNG framework which is basically used for creating a testing with your Selenium project. So here you can see TestNG for Eclipse, which I have already installed in my Eclipse window. So this is basically a separate framework which is basically used for your automation testing. See, we have created a Java project, but we are not going to work in a Java environment. We are using a Java as a language, and inside we are going to create our automation test script. So to create and execute automated test scripts, we require some testing framework. So what framework we are implementing here? We are going to implement the framework called TestNG framework. So for that, we are going for this particular option. We also have one more framework called JUnit, which is a default automation default framework which comes under Java platform, but that is basically used for unit level testing. At the same time, you can also use that framework for Selenium also, but there are a lot of differentiate will be there. Like for example, if you use a TestNG framework, you will get a detailed execution report. You can get the different type of report like HTML report, XML reports. We can also conduct a parallel testing, sequential testing. So there are a lot of advantage, a lot of features and a lot of advantages are available comparing with your JUnit. So that's the reason why we are using a TestNG framework for the Selenium automation testing. So here we have to select install option and we need to install that particular framework. But in my case, it is already installed. So we just close this one. So I created a project, a pure Java project. I created a package. The next thing is we have to create a class, but class need to be created. Like I'll go for package new, and here we can see class. So this is basically a Java class, pure Java class. So we are not working on Java project. We are going to create a TestNG framework. So that means we have to create a TestNG class, not a Java class. So I'll go to others, and here you can see TestNG, a TestNG class. I'll select TestNG class. I'll give the TestNG name, class name as login test case. Now, after giving the test case name, here we can see some of the different annotations are available. So annotations are basically used to provide the step-by-step guidelines how exactly you need to implement that particular framework. So even if you already have an experience on Java platform, in default in Java, in JUnit, we have annotations. Same type, we in TestNG also we have an annotation. So annotations are basically used and supports to execute your test cases in a systematic way. Here I can shortly explain all this particular annotation. Here you can see annotation before test, after test. So suppose for example you have a test 1, test 2, test 3. So you are creating 3 different test cases, and executing before the test cases you want to run something. Like for example opening the browser, then I want to perform my activity. So that need to be get executed before every test cases and after every test cases. So I will use the annotation called before test, after test. Before class, after class. So here this is the class which we are creating login test cases. So whenever I run, I want some prerequisites need to be executed every time, and it should be get executed only once throughout that particular test cases. So I will use a method called before class and after class. Sorry. So whatever the code you are writing in before class and after class, that will be get executed only once before your actual test case will be get executed login class. After executing this login class, this will be get executed. Example I can consider as opening the connecting database, disconnecting with the database. So connecting database need to be done only once. Disconnecting the database need to be done only once at the end of the testing life cycle. Sorry. before method, after method. In a class, inside the class, if you created multiple methods, you want to execute some prerequisite before every method will get executed. So in that case, I will go for before method and after method. Test shoot, collection of test cases. If you have group of test cases and you created test shoot and some prerequisites need to be get executed before your test shoot and after your test shoot, then I will go for this particular annotation. Apart from this thing, we have an annotation called data provider. So basically data provider is something which is basically used for the parameterized concept. Suppose for example, if I want to validate login feature, if I want to validate the login functionality with a different set of input condition. For example, I can show you, this is one of the demo application. Let me see whether it works today. Yeah, so this is one of the demo web application. In this application, I have a login functionality. I want to validate this login functionality not with the hard-coded value which I have included inside my code. Instead of that, I have 10 user ID and password. I want to execute all those 10 different user ID and password. So in that case, I will go for the concept called data provider. So when you want to verify and validate one single functionality with a different set of input condition, we will be going for the parameterized concept. To implement the parameterized concept, we are using an annotation data provider. So right now, I'm not going to use all these things. I just need a before class and after class. I'll just click on finish. Now you can see my test case. I have created a new testng class which contains some of the import statement, and here you can see this is the annotation test. So this is basically, here we will write our exact test cases, what exactly we want to test, and this part is something before class and after class which will be get executed only once. This will be get executed before this test method once. This will be get executed after once the test has been get executed. Now here we can see we have some couple of errors. So what all the things are pending? We are not completed the environmental configuration part. That means we are not configured all the related Selenium objective jar files and everything. So what we need to do is, first we have to go to our project, right click on the project, go to build path, add libraries. So we are created the testng class. So here you can see, if you see in our project, this is our package, and here we can see we have a JRE system library. We don't have any library which is related with the testng, and we have created the testng class. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a testng library. Add library, next. So now you can see the testng library has been included. So a couple of errors has been recovered. So now I can see most of my all errors has been removed. The next thing is, again I have to go to Selenium automation project level, go to build path, add extra, configure build path, and I'll go to add external jar, and we have to select the web driver. So Selenium Java, this I have downloaded from the Selenium HQ because we are using a Java platform, and we have to select Selenium Java. And one more thing is Selenium standalone server. Select it. Right. Okay. So now the initial configuration part is completed. What I did, I created a new Java project. Then I created a package. Inside the package, I created a class. The class will be I created as a TestNG class. And inside the TestNG class, I have selected the appropriate annotation which is required in our project. After that, I created the library which is related with the TestNG, and also I have included the additional libraries, reference library, which is called as a Selenium Java. Here you can see Selenium Java and Selenium standalone server. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the test cases for this particular login part, login test cases. So right now I can just write the test WebDriver code for only this login, and rest of the two concept I will directly explain. I have a ready code with me. So now what I need to do is I need to write the code for this particular thing. So now I need all the browsers, web drivers and everything. So let me include private driver. I'll explain this code. Okay. Now here there are additional some of the import statement I have included, because I am going to use the browser called Chrome browser. So I have included the Selenium Chrome driver, and I have included the before class, after class annotation. So now inside the before class, you can see what all task I have specified. System.set property, web driver, system.set property. Here I am going to specify the path of my Chrome driver.exe. So Chrome driver I have downloaded from the Google. I went to the Google and I shall just type it. Chrome driver. So this is already I explained yesterday. So this driver is basically required to run your test cases in the browser level. So which browser you are going to use, that browser driver need to be installed and copied inside your machine. So I have already downloaded, which is available inside my downloads. Here you can see Chrome driver I have already downloaded, I have installed in my machine. So I'm just giving this particular path. For that I am implementing this particular line number 14. And after that, in the test method, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this particular. Okay. So first what I'm doing, driver.get, what I'm going to get this particular link. After opening this particular link, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the test case. I'm going to enter username and password. So as I said earlier, I need to go for the developer tool to learn this particular object. So inspect element, username text box. So name of the text box is username. So I'll just copy the property name. I'll go back to my Selenium code. So driver dot, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the element, driver dot find element. How you are going to find the element? By its name. So here we can see there are different locators are available. So here I have specified by its name. Here you can see name is equal to username. So here I will just type by its name. And what is the name? Username. This is the name of the object. Dot. What I'm going to do, I'm going to enter the value. So for that, in Selenium WebDriver, we will be using the command called send key. And what is the value which you want to pass? That is the input. So here you can see driver.get. I'm going to get this particular link. After that, inside that particular website, driver.find. Find one element by its name. Name of the element is username. And inside this username, you want to pass the action is you want to send a key value called Robert. Same thing. I will go for the second. That is the password field. So the name of the password is password. I'll just copy the name. So driver dot find element by its name. The name of the object is password. Dot send keys. And here I need to enter the password is Robert. So username I have entered, password also I have entered. The next thing is I need to click on that particular button. So let me take the third element. So here you can see name. So you can also use any other object also, other locator also. So this is very basic, very simple. So I'm going with the name. So driver dot find element by its name. Name is login dot click. I'm going to submit the values. So now what I did, I just specified the properties. Here I have specified the particular environment, what I want to do it. This is the driver which is available. So now I want to open this particular website. From that website, I need to pass these two variables, these two arguments. Username is Robert, password is Robert, and we want to click on the login button. So now if I run this code, the Selenium will open the Chrome browser and it will open this particular link and it will enter this user ID and password and it will try to click on the submit button. So now I'm going to run this code. So there is some issues in that particular demo application. Sometimes it won't work. If it is not work, then I will show in the Google page. Right click, run as. So here we won't get an option called Java project because this is not a Java class. This is a purely TestNG class. So we are getting an option called TestNG test. So I'm just going to select TestNG test. It's open Chrome. You can see it is also open that application. It entered the username as Robert. It entered the password is Robert. Now my execute. Here you can see my execution has been completed successfully. So basically what I'm doing, it's very simple. We are not recording anything. We are writing the WebDriver code. So what is the skill is required here? You need to know how to learn and how to locate the element from that particular any website. And if you are good in locating the web element, then you need to learn the scripting. You need to know the WebDriver for text box, button, images, link, and everything. Then it is easy that we can able to write a WebDriver code and we can able to execute the code. Here you can see the result is passed 0, passed is equal to 1. There is no failures, there is no skip. And after entering this thing, here you can see this browser is open. So what I can do is I can take one more action here. Annotation after class. Annotation after class is basically used to take action after your test has been completed. Driver dot close. The next is, so first we discussed about login part. Second, I will show you how to conduct the parameterized script. So let me create one more test cases. So I'm going to create a new class, new test ng class, and here I can give the test case name is parameter test case, and here I'm going to use a data provider before class, after class, click on finish. So here driver dot close. So what happened after completed the execution, it will close that particular current browser. So I just run the previous code once again. You can see it is also closed the current browser which is running. So my execution is completed. Now I'm going for the second test cases, parameterized test cases. So the same code I'm going to reuse here, but instead of passing the username and password, I'm going to pass into a two-dimensional array as a separate test cases, so that during the execution time, it will take the input from that particular data provider. So this one I can keep remain same before class. I'll take it, and here before class, after class, driver dot close. Okay. Driver dot close, and test method. So here you can see test is equal to, here we are giving data provider. So in a single test case, you can create a multiple data provider. So now I'm going to create a data provider for login feature. So I'm just giving the name as login, and here I'm going to pass those particular character strings. So here there is no integer value because username and password both are string. I'm creating a variable string. So I can give uname and string pass. Now I'm going to write my test cases here. So I'll just copy the same thing, the 4 line of code. Driver.get. I'm going to get this particular application. Driver.find element by its name. The name of the object is username. And here I'm not going to pass the hard-coded value. Instead of that, I have already created a variable for username is uname. And for the password, again the same thing, I'm not going to pass the actual parameter. Instead of that, I have already created a parameter is pass. So now you can see the difference. I created the data provider with the name called login. Why I'm giving the login as a name? Because you can create a multiple test. This is one test. You can create one more test, one more data provider. So that's the reason to uniquely identify, we are giving the name of the data provider. So I have specified data provider name is login. And what is the variable I'm creating? I'm creating a 2 variables as a string. String variable 1 is uname, variable 2 is PSSWD. Now these 2 variable I'm going to pass here instead of my hard-coded value. Now I'm going to click on it. Now what happened? I'm going to create the parameter called login. So here I can see this is the data provider, set of data provider. So here data provider name is login. I'm creating a 2-dimensional array. And now inside this particular set of data provider, I will give all the user ID and password which I want to test. So now it's a string. So first set of username is Robert. Password is Robert. This is my second set. Robert 1. Password is also Robert 1. Let me create one more set of values. I can say Robert 2 and password is also Robert. So now if you see, when I run this program, Selenium will goes to this particular variable, and these 2 variables we have specified here. For this variable we have given the name for the data provider is login, and automatically it will go for this particular data provider. And here we have specified 3 set of input condition. This is first set, this is the second, this is the third. So this is, I can say, iteration 1, iteration 2 and iteration 3. So every iteration it will take the input from this particular set of value instead of passing the hard-coded value. So here what I'm doing, I'm going to validate the particular login functionality with 3 different set of input condition. So now I'm going to run. So it will take 3 iteration, and every iteration it will take the values from this particular data provider. Run as test ng. So this is my first iteration. It takes the input as Robert and Robert. Second iteration, Robert 1, Robert 1. The second iteration, Robert 1 and Robert 1, the page will be different. Why? Because that is a registered user ID and password. So rest of the details are not a registered ID and password. So now my execution has been completed. So I'll just go to my result of execution status. Here you can see the execution first iteration, what is the value the Selenium has taken, second iteration, third iteration. So like that, what we can do is we can validate n number of set of input condition. Suppose if you ask the question like how if I want to test 1000 set of input condition, will I need to enter all these 1000 data input condition inside my data provider? No, it is not necessary, because it is also supports as separate Excel file. Suppose if you have Excel file values, if you want to call those particular values during the runtime, that is also applicable. At the same time, Selenium is also supports TestNG. Selenium TestNG framework supports XML. So we can create a separate XML file, and through that XML we can call and run through the runtime process. So there are three different ways that you can able to execute your code with the help of the parameterized concept. So first we discuss how to create a Java project, how to configure the environment, how to configure the TestNG framework and everything. Second, we discuss how to write a login test cases in Selenium TestNG WebDriver. Second, we discussed how to make a parameterized test cases for the login functionality with the three different set of input condition. Now third, I am going to make another one test cases where I am going to add a verification and assertion command. I'm going to create one more class. So I'm giving the name as assertion test case. So let me take my code which I have already created. So now what I'm going to do, I'll tell you the first what I'm going to do is, so I'll just take the code first. So here I'm just taking only the basic concepts and very basic details about the Selenium. Still we have lot more things to cover and lot more things to discuss. So now what I'm going to do is, my concept is here first I will open this particular demo AUT application. Then I'm going to enter username, and after that I'm going to enter the password. The third, I'm going to check whether this login button is displayed or not, because when you are when we are getting the requirement from the customer, when we are implementing a project, there are three things. There are a type of requirement, type of defect, missing requirement, extra requirement, wrong requirement. Sometimes we will miss that particular requirement to implement in the project. Sometimes we'll add some extra requirement in the project. Sometimes we'll make a wrong requirement in the project. So the concept which I explained is called as a assertion. Assertion or verification is basically used to verify and assert is that particular object is present or not, whether the particular object is responding and working according to the specific client requirement or not. To verify, we are using the assertion command. So using an assertion, we can able to check is enabled, whether this particular object is enabled, to check whether this object is visible, displayed or not, enabled or not. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to check whether this object is displayed in this particular application or not. So for that, you can see my code. I open that application demo AUT. Then I'm going to enter username and I'm going to enter the password. I have entered username as Robert1, password is Robert1. After that, you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to check the element, whether the element login is displayed or not. Is displayed or not. After that only I'm going to click on that particular application. So I'm going to check this element is displayed or not. If it is displayed, Then I want to print some message in the output window, console window, element is present, else this message. So basically what happened in Selenium, when you add assertion, here you can see I have added the assertion statement, assert true. Assertion, if the execution failed, the rest of the code won't be get executed. That means if line number 24 is passed, the rest of the code will be get executed. If line number 24 is not passed, the rest of the code won't be get executed. That means if assertion failed, the execution will be aborted. That is the logic for the Selenium assertion concept. So now I'm going to run as test-ng test. So it is entering username, it will enter the password, then it will check whether that particular button object is displayed or not. So now you can see there is no fail, it is passed. Why? Because that object is specifically displayed. Let me change my object name. So before that, you can also check your console window. I'll go to the console window, and here you can see the output. Yeah, here you can see the element is present. It is passed, element is available, the element is present. What element? The element name which is called as a login. So this is the element name for login. Now let me change login 1, and now I'm going to run this code. Again, it will open the application in the Chrome. It enter the username, enter the password, then it will check the object is present or not. Now you can see my result has been failed. You can see assertion test case has been failed, and when you see the result, no such element, unable to locate that particular element, that specific element which you are trying to look from that particular object. Here you can see, after once you enter username and password and you are trying to check the location, element name called login1, which is not displayed. At the same time, if you see your console also, if you see your console window, Java console window, here we are not getting that particular option. Here we are getting the element, it is failed, but the message which we are trying to print in the console window, we have a if else statement. So this particular statement is not printed. Why? Because as I said in Selenium, if assertion failed, the rest of the code won't be get executed. It will abort the execution. So that is the reason the failed execution statement is not get printed. So first we discuss how to create, how to configure the Java Selenium project inside the Eclipse, what all the necessary jar file, what all the necessary libraries are required, how to build all those things. Then we discussed about what is test-ng, why test-ng is required, what are the different annotations are available in test-ng, how to use those particular test-ng annotation. Then we discussed how to write the Java Selenium WebDriver code for the login functionality. Then I explained how to do the parameterized script with the help of the data provider method. Then third, we discussed how to use a assertion method. So still we have a lot of assertion concept. When you come to the data provider method, we have some advanced level of data provider method where we can able to capture the information from the external files and everything. And apart from that, we have advanced level of Selenium concept which will be related with some of the advanced test-ng and Selenium WebDriver frameworks can be implemented. So there will be a lot of things to still need to be learned. So this was like just an overview and just a basic ideas, like exactly how the execution happens in the browser level through the Eclipse. So that I have explained up to now. So I hope so that it will be good section for the demo of Selenium. So if you have any questions, you can get in touch with me. And I have already shared my email ID and mobile number. So I will share. So those who are, I think you will get PPTs and everything from your point of contact. So apart from that, please you can use my email ID. I have already shared my email ID. So you can just get in touch with me in future if you require any documentations or any additional trainings or whatever it is you required from the Selenium or any automation tools, because I'm working not only working for Selenium automation tool, I'm working for all other rest of automation, functional performance, API security, all the testing tools. So you can keep in touch with me in future if you require any help on that.
Hello, sir. We from Wilma Communication, thanking you, sir, for giving this wonderful presentation and sharing your ideas and information to us. It's really useful, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. It was very interactive session. Actually, we learned a lot. Thank you for your uninterrupted presentation. Really, it's a very, very nice session. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.